Olaf from Lanzarote. One of the most retarded claims by vegans is that only herbivores get atherosclerosis. Not only is it obviously wrong, because all animals who eat an unnatural diet get it, but the claim actually debunks veganism. It's incredibly ignorant to religiously believe that only certain animals get it. All animals eat a ketogenic diet, high in saturated animal fat and cholesterol. Cows digest their food into 80% saturated fat, apes into 70% saturated fat, and so on. They do this because they cannot create new cells without these nutrients. That goes for all animals. Why don't they get atherosclerosis? The same reason there has never been a case of a meat-eating human being who got it, which would be all humans in nature. That's why the hospitals are filled with people who eat a plant-based diet, which would be over 90% of Europeans. Or do you see any people who eat a low-carb diet in hospitals? No, they are not sick. Us carnivores get these nutrients from animals who have bacteria that create it for them, because we cannot make enough cholesterol on our own. You can see in vegan blood tests that they are deficient in cholesterol, but of course they have been brainwashed to believe that that's healthy. This is why they have these mental issues and lose weight, which literally means that they cannot create new cells. That's why their brains shrink, and that's biochemistry 101. As proven in another video of mine, gorillas get atherosclerosis when they are fed sugar and starch. The exact same thing happens to all animals. Cats in zoos get it. Dogs that we keep as pets and feed garbage. How motherfucking stupid do you have to be to fall for this?
We have evolved over several hundreds of thousands of years to eat and cope with animal fat. Despite this, doctors argue that the cause of heart disease is too much animal fat. Surgeon Captain Trevor Cleve, back in the 1960s, said, however, for a modern disease to be related to an old-fashioned food is one of the most ludicrous things I ever heard in my life. Of course, he's right. They also say that it's a result of a lack of polyunsaturated plant oils, such as corn oil, safflower and sunflower and canola oils. But think about it. How can this present epidemic be caused through a lack of something we've never eaten? And then in the 1980s, healthy eating was introduced, and we had carbohydrate-based low-fat foods, and things got worse for our health even quicker with healthy eating, which recommended this sort of a diet. And we can see the consequences of this all around us. There's been a dramatic rise in a whole range of diseases. Obesity is the most obvious one. Diabetes, heart disease. We get 3 times as many cancers now as when healthy eating was first introduced, and there are many more. And then a study published in Neurology in 2008 showed that our brains are now shrinking much faster still. This was a 5-year study of volunteers aged between 61 and 87. Their brains were scanned and measured for the size at the beginning of the study, and they also had blood tests taken to measure a number of things, including vitamin B12, which only comes from animals, which will give an indication of how much meat and animal products they ate. At the end of the study, their brains were tested again, and so were their blood, and significant levels of brain shrinkage were seen. Those eating a meat-free diet were 6 times more likely to suffer brain shrinkage, and vegans, who don't of course eat anything from animals, had the most shrinkage, which was more than 5% over the 5 years. So think about it. If you can lose 5% of your brain in 5 years, if you were a vegan for 20 years, how much would you lose? I had a thought about this, and I had a look at the sizes of the brains and the various people at the beginning of the trial. And I found that the smallest brain in somebody eating a normal diet was actually bigger than the biggest brain of a vegan. Worryingly, though, all participants had vitamin B12s, which were within what was regarded as a normal range. This suggests strongly that what we consider to be normal is actually way too low. We need to raise the standard, and to do that, we need to eat more meat, not less. Incidentally, if you're still worried about fat and heart disease, these 2 graphs should reassure you. From the World Health Organization, They show that in Europe, the countries which have the highest fat intakes are the ones with the lowest numbers of deaths from heart disease.
100 years ago, almost nobody had atherosclerosis. And since we reduced our meat consumption by 60%, everybody's dying. What the fuck is hard to understand about this? This is 100% proof that vegans are severely mentally ill and live in delusional denial. I've made over 4 videos proving that sugar causes heart disease. Many vegans have died of atherosclerosis. The founder of the Vegan Society died of a heart attack. Peace.